animals here in the state of Rhode Island?
Well, that's two different issues, and they're
Right.
two major issues in the state of Rhode Island. You have to understand that in the state of Rhode Island, there are 39 municipalities, and probably 34 of them have animal control officers that take care of the animal issues in their municipalities, paid for by citizens' taxes. A very unique situation in Rhode Island is that the law states that animal control officers in these municipalities are not required to deal with cats.
What?
Well, this is something, listen up, folks.
So
That doesn't make sense.
the reason
That defies logic. What's that
that's
about?
what it is. That is a law that they can deal with them, but they're not required to deal with them.
What is the reason or rationale
Well-
behind that initial lack of law or
Yeah,
whatever?
lack of law.
I don't know the answer to that, Ron,
Okay.
but it presents this scenario in a verbal type of flow chart. What you have is you have an owner of a cat in Rhode Island. For some reason, that person has to get rid of that cat. They're allergic to it. It's a mother's cat. The mother's going into a nursing home. So the first thing that person does is try to find a family or friend to take that cat. And they strike out with that situation. Their next step is to go to the municipal shelter and ask them if they can take in the cat. You could call all these shelters today, and I'll guarantee you that probably 99% of them will tell you, we don't have any room for cats. The next step that they go to from the municipal shelters is the private nonprofit shelters, such as ours. We're inundated with cats. There's no room at the inn many times. We don't have them.
my God.
So the next thing that they do is they abandon them. Now they abandon a cat. Cat finds its way in somebody's neighborhood. You have a very nice little old kind lady with a big heart. Winter's coming. What do you think she does?
She feeds it,
She
takes
feeds
it
the
in.
cat. She doesn't take it in.
Okay.
She feeds it. Cat is probably not spayed or neutered. So a female was dropped off at your place. A male was dropped off at her place.
And they find each other.
You feed them, you give them food to reproduce, they reproduce, they have kittens. These kittens do
the
not
wild.
interact with human beings. They become feral cats. And at the end of the scenario, the statistics show that if you have a male cat and a female cat, and they mate, and their offspring mate, and this continues on, in 7 years you will have 475 cats.
Wow.
Now, of course, not all of them live. So this is the problem that we have in Rhode Island right now, because we, all of us, including the nonprofit organ, there is just no room because there are too many cats out there, because no one has taken a hold of this situation and done something about it.
Wow.
I've spoken to mayors, I've spoken to town administrators, I've spoken to legislative people, and there's only 3 solutions to the problem.
Spade the cat.
Capture them, spay them, neuter them, and turn them loose. Euthanize them, or do nothing. And in my 10 years there, the choices that have been made is number 3, to do nothing.
Wow.
And the problem is only mushrooming and mushroom. And we get calls every day. We refuse 7 cats a day.
Wow.
That comes to approximately 1,500 cats a year. That just my small organization refuses.
Dr. Finocchio, there's the problem. What's the solution as you see it?
The solution is the legislative body has to do something about, cities and towns have to become more responsible. They're broke.
Exactly.
It takes money to fix this problem. So they're broke, so how do you fix the problem? But we're the ones that they come to and say, can you help us fix the problem? I have to refuse you and say, Ron, I can't take your cat in. So when I tell you I can't take your cat in, guess what you're going to do?
Abandon it.
And then you saw
Or
what
be
the
cruel
scenario
to it.
Now,
is.
here's a question, though, for our viewers' sake. Let's circumvent the politics for a moment and the economics for a moment. What can our viewers do to help at least keep this problem to a minimum, if not eradicate it?
Well, you're not going to like my answer.
Well, I'm going to try.
Okay? And the answer is you should not, under any circumstances, feed a feral or stray cat.
Now, what's the definition of feral?
Feral cat is probably a cat that was never owned by a person.
Oh.
A stray cat is a cat that probably was owned by a person that is people-friendly and will come up to you and not scatter at your
Stray.
sight,
That's
such as a
stray.
feral cat would do.
Okay. the
These
feral-
cats live a very terrible life. They have fleas, they have ear mites.
Yeah.
they have lack of nutrition. They live a terrible, terrible life out there. So, you know, when we say euthanasia, of course you're going to have that element of society that says, here you are advocating for the rights and welfare of animals,
Yeah.
and are you indicating that we should euthanize these cats? To be quite honest with you, if I was one of those cats
You'd want
living
to
in the
be.
conditions that they're living in, or had a choice to be euthanized, I personally would choose to be euthanized, because that's no way an animal should live.
Right.
An interesting thing about cats, feral cats, it's the only domesticated animal that man has made wild.
Wow.
That's an interesting perspective. That's a very deep statement.
So the cities and towns must step up and do something, because we all have to work on this together. And to be quite honest with you, nothing is being done whatsoever.
Now, for the moment, while our
Boy.
viewers are watching the show, I'm sure people are taking what you're saying. You're an authority, and you're a well-spoken, articulate gentleman. And I'm sure they're saying, this man's an authority. He knows, so I shouldn't feed these stray cats.
That's-
However, giving them a few hours, a few minutes, hours, weeks, days, this is going to subside, this feeling, like it does when you go to, you guys hear a motivational speaker and you're ready to go.
Yeah.
But then tomorrow, next week, you kind of go back
Well,
to your
how
old
about
thing.
if you're going to feed the cat, then you got to go get it shots, and you got to take it in, and you got to
If
get
you-
it
My
fixed.
thing is, if
and,
I
you know,
don't feed
if you're
it-
going to feed it, you should
well,
do everything.
But if
in
I
Rhode
don't
Island-
feed it, what do I do?
In Rhode Island, if you feed a cat for, let's say, 2 weeks,
Yeah.
by law in Rhode Island, you are the owner of the cat. And law in Rhode Island is such that if you own a cat, it must be vaccinated for rabies. It's a state law.
Oh.
Up to jail time for not vaccinating an animal
common
for
law for
rabies.
cats.
What?
And you must have it spayed or neutered $75 a month after you were warned to have it spayed or neutered, $75 a month to have it done. Now, that's a feel-good law that was created about 3 years ago.
Oh,
Who enforces it?
right.
How can you tell a spayed cat by looking at it?
Dr. Finocchio, again, part of the solution here. Let's help our viewers be part of the solution. And Poppy and I, too, I'd like to be part of this solution. If I don't feed this stray cat that comes to my door, what should I do?
Nature is going to take its course, as cruel as that may sound.
But I mean, should I report this animal as being a stray and possibly get it brought into the SPCA or somewhere else?
We don't have room for
You
it.
don't have room for it.
And neither does the town that you live in have
I am
room for it.
listening to you, and you have said that. I understand.
There are some problems, there are no solutions to.
Yeah.
This is a problem where I deeply feel there is not a current solution to this problem. We're inundated with this problem on a daily basis.
We're going to run out of time shortly, so let's talk about the other problem that you and I discussed prior to going on the air, which was exotic animals.
I'll be quite blank. I'll be
Blank, blunt.
blunt with you.
Frank.
I'll be very frank with you. As the spokesman for the SPCA, I'm going to say that our society does not feel that exotic pets should be in the homes of people in the state of Rhode Island.
I agree.
And you know, and what's happened, I always use this case whenever this conversation comes
I
up, not
agree.
with you, but the lady in Connecticut that had her, for God forgive, her face torn off by that chimpanzee.
Mutilated
that
by a
was-
chimpanzee,
She was mutilated.
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
she's
it's
blind.
ridiculous to have pets like that.
This pet was a loving animal that was like a child to the woman that owned it. No one anticipated the animal doing that, and you never know, folks, they're wild animals. Let Dr. Finocchio
Exactly.
tell you a little bit.
Ron,
about it.
exotic animals, chimpanzee, alligator, 12-foot boa, these animals do not make good companions.
No.
Do you hug a 6-foot alligator?
No.
Does it sleep with you? Do you take it for a walk? These animals, you have taken these animals, it's cruel. It's absolutely cruel when you look at it. You take an animal out of
Exactly.
its natural habitat, where it should live by the rules of nature. You take it and you bring it into someone's home who lives by our laws, and that's not the way an animal should live.
I
No one
completely
can
agree.
duplicate their natural habitat. I don't care who, zoos cannot duplicate.
Right.
Disney
How
can't do
can
it.
how can a homeowner duplicate this situation?
Exactly.
It is absolutely asinine. There is no right. I was talking to Joe on the way coming here, saying, what does a person get out of having a 12-foot boa, a 3-foot alligator, some animal that's nocturnal and only is active at night, unless you have
All
a
I
day
can think
job
of
and
is
don't
shoes,
sleep at
boots-
night?
Shoes, boots, and a wallet. That's all I can think of.
Well, why do the pet stores that sell the food to feed those animals should maybe report them and
Poppy, listen to this. In pet stores, in Rhode Island, I think we're backwards, by the way, Rhode Island. We are a backward state when it comes to our animal cruelty laws. Yes, I'm not ashamed to say it, because Joe and I see this every day.
Yeah.
There are no regulations or standards for minimal housing of animals in the state of Rhode Island. Joe and I have been to a pet store where this table right here, we've seen 40 to 50 guinea pigs, and we have pictures of it. It's not just word of mouth. We have pictures of 40 to 50 guinea pigs in an enclosure this big where they were
Oh.
cannibalizing one another
Oh
because
my
of
God.
overcrowding.
In the pet store?
In the pet store. They were dead bodies right there that we have pictures of. And there are no rules or regulations as to how many snakes you can have in a container, how many guinea pigs you can have in an enclosure, how many rabbits you can have. It's just...
What do we have to do, write to our congressman?
I was just going to say, our
do
viewers
something? 'Cause
need to
we have
get a hold
wrap
of our
this up
elected
now.
officials, and they have to do something about this. This is
This is not brain surgery.
No, it isn't.
Th- th-
No, it
this is
isn't.
just the
It needs-
minimal
The problem with
standards.
the cats I find kind of frustrating, I must admit.
It is. It's frustrating to us because,
sure it is.
you know, they're a domesticated animal. They deserve to have a decent life. And we, the people of, you know, this is a people problem, number one. This is not a cat problem.
Right.
This is
Right,
people
right.
who are not responsible pet owners, who are not doing the right thing, who are creating this problem.
Yeah,
and then they call us to solve the problem.
Well,
Well, Dr. Finocchio,
we got to have him back on.
Joe, Wasika, we have to have you gentlemen back. I hope you've given us a lot of time today. I hope you'll give us some more in the future.
I'm
This is-
depressed.
Well, I'm not exactly depressed. I'm informed, and I hope our viewers are informed too. Thank you so much. We have
Thank
to
you,
wrap
Ron.
this up.
Wow,
Thank you.
thank
Thank
you.
both of you for your time and your wonderful commentary. We appreciate it. Please, if you know of this going on, do something about it. This is all of our problem, and it's going to get worse with the population
Yes,
explosion.
spade your cats. The RISPCA is definitely a group that everyone needs to know about.
You know, one of the things we didn't talk about, they just had on October 29th their almost free rabies clinic. And I mention this because you might have missed that one.
Yeah.
I hope you went. But if you didn't, you can go to the next one. They have them at least once a year. And all you have to do is bring some canned food, human food, and they'll vaccinate your animals for you, give rabies shots to
great.
your animals. By the way, the SPCA is located on Amaral Street in Riverside. Excuse me, not East Providence, Riverside, Rhode Island.
186 Amaral Street.
Correct.
And I think my brother needs to get his cat a rabies shot, because I don't see any tag on it, so I think he probably needs to get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. I recommend anybody would do something like that. You can also get a hold of the SPCA at their website. You can give them a call, but they prefer they're in date of a call, so you're better off getting them at the website and so on. And we have their calendar here, don't we?
2-year calendar.
A two-year calendar for 2012 and 2013, promoting the RISPCA. And as we said earlier, folks, because it says RI, don't think that these folks get money from the state. This is a privately funded organization, just like the Aid Foundation. And we're here to help. We're here to draw attention. It's a beautiful calendar with some,
Let's get some great,
all different
great
breeds,
photos in
dogs
there.
on it and everything. And remember what Dr. Finocchio told us earlier. I was shocked and amazed. The information you get on the show, if you listen, is amazing. That if you feed a stray cat, which you shouldn't do, I
You
learned.
own it.
But if you do, for
You
2
feed it,
weeks,
you
you
own
own
it.
it by law in the state of Rhode Island. So be very careful. You think you're doing the humane and the right thing, and quite frankly, we found out today sometimes we're wrong. We think we're doing the right thing and we're not. So they need
right.
our help. And the way to find out is go on their website, rispca.com, and find out all about what the SPCA is about, how long they've been here, what they're doing, and what we can do to help. Well, it was a great segment, Poppy.
It was a great segment. It was a great segment. I mean, pets, they just bring so much joy to your life, but you've got to take care of them, you know, like a person almost.
And the reason we tell you this is the reason we tell you everything here at the Reach Out program. We're reaching out to you. We need you to reach back. Until next time, God bless.
Thank you.